Wilder watch is done. The superintendent fired by unanimous vote. Team coverage continues. 2 bodies discovered as a Dothan home burns overnight. An update on the investigation. And the highway war rolls on. Eufaula's battle to preserve its historic downtown setting. The next chapter.
We have another cold night on the way. Well, let's let you know what you can expect coming up.
From WDHN, this is WDHN News at 6.
Good evening. The Dothan School Board, on a unanimous vote today, terminated the contract of Superintendent Tim Wilder. That came after testimony and evidence that the board believed showed a pattern of inappropriate sexual conduct. But as WDHN's Ken Curtis reports tonight, this may be far from the last we hear from Wilder.
School Board Chairman Harry Wayne Parrish sat and waited for 8:30 to come. That was about the only lull today. Allegations of inappropriate text messages sent by this man, suspended Superintendent Tim Wilder, bickering among 2 veteran attorneys over pages and pages of documents and text messages, questions about city school policy. But it was the testimony of one woman who worked only a few weeks for Wilder that may have been the most damning.
Yes, I was.
Tori Etheridge testifying that her boss kept pestering her to have sex and making comments that would make a sailor blush. Etheridge saying the seriousness of the comments only intensified over time until she could take it no more.
I didn't want any other woman to have to get hurt. I did the right thing. I'm a young woman with a family. I did what I had to do. It was tearing apart my family, and I decided it was time to take a stand.
And she did report Wilder's alleged comments to this man, Personnel Director and now Interim Superintendent Todd Weeks. But Wilder's attorney Ed Price questions if his client's conduct was so heinous, why didn't Etheridge report it earlier? And if Etheridge was as intimidated as she claims, why did she continue to exchange friendly text messages with Wilder? And Price wonders why there was even a hearing at all today, since the outcome, according to him, was predetermined.
They made their mind up 2 weeks ago.
But members of the school board say their decision was fair, and getting rid of Wilder was the only reasonable choice they had, considering the evidence.
When I laid it all out there to consider, I felt like this was a decision that I had to support.
You know, we considered all of the testimony, we considered all of the exhibits that were entered, the arguments from counsel, and you know, at the end of the day, the board agreed unanimously that the superintendent's conduct had breached those 3 provisions of the contract.
On the surface, it would appear this case, the talk of Dothan for 3 weeks now, would finally be over. But things are not always as they appear. Price admitted he was passionately appalled by the board's actions today, saying the evidence just wasn't there.
And from here, really, there's 2 choices: do nothing or go to circuit court.
Well, no, there's some other remedies. There's a possibility of filing an EEOC claim and going to federal court. So we'll evaluate our position and try to help Tim Wilder make the best decision.
And unless that decision is to do nothing further, and that seems unlikely, the case that many thought was over may be anything but. In Dothan, Ken Curtis, WDHN News.
All right, let's keep team coverage rolling tonight of the Wilder termination. Tim Wilder, of course, says he got a raw deal in that termination hearing today and that the matter is not over yet. WDHN's Brianna Barr is going to join us now. Brianna, you spoke with Tim Wilder on the phone yesterday. Then today, after the hearing, you also interviewed him again. What's the tone? Was it different between these 2 conversations?
Well, Ben, to be honest, his tone was pretty much the same. He was confident in saying he did not send those texts to Tori Etheridge, and he doesn't know why she's making these claims. It took 5 hours before the verdict on Tim Wilder's future was decided. The embattled superintendent of Dothan City Schools terminated at 1:08 p.m. Friday afternoon after allegations of sexual harassment were brought on by a former employee, Tori Etheridge. But Wilder says he was blindsided by the whole ordeal.
You have to ask her that. I have no clue why she would make these claims. None, absolutely none.
After hearing he would no longer be working as superintendent, he says he felt wronged by the board.
I don't feel real good. I think the board made the wrong decision. We certainly don't agree with it. So there are a lot of emotions right now with what I'm feeling in staying in this building.
Wilder told us this afternoon he did not feel comfortable in the central office building today. But he says what really gave him a sick feeling is the way the entire investigation was handled. He claims he found out about the allegations through WDHN.
I think the process is flawed. I think the cards were stacked, and that's the way I feel. I think there's very little doubt about that. My voice was heard today for about 1 hour. The other side has been heard for about 2.5 weeks, and that's unfair.
Wilder says his attorneys did a great job representing him today, and now they'll move forward to the next step. But what is the next step? Wilder says he doesn't know, but knows it's not over yet.
I'm not going to give up a fight that I believe we've been done wrong, so we'll see what that next step's going to be.
Well, in every interview that we have,
now, Wilder's wife is also a school employee, and he says he hopes her job is not affected by this. She was not present during the hearing, but he says she's in support of him and holds her head high.
Brianna, thank you. Last night we told you about a shooting that took place in the 300 block of South Apple Tree Street, and today Dothan police are continuing their investigation into what happened. The shootings were at about 7 o'clock last night, and as of right now we do know that there were 2 separate groups of men involved, 3 of which went to Southeast Alabama Medical Center for non-life-threatening injuries.
Somewhere or another, they came in and confronted each other, and afterwards, shots were fired. So we're still investigating what the exact circumstances were surrounding the shooting, but right now, there's not too much to really go on.
Dothan police are asking the public that if you have any information on this incident, please call 615-3000. That incident led off a busy night for law enforcement locally. The Dothan Police Department and Dothan Fire Department is now working together on a joint investigation to find out what started a fire in the 500 block of West Bunch Street last night that left 2 people dead. That neighborhood is in North Dothan near Northview High School. It's now being called a suspicious fire. Upon arrival at the home, the fire department found this home fully engulfed. WDHN's Yasmina Alston has more on this story. Been covering it all day today. Yas, what you got?
Well, both departments were still working at the house earlier today. They were trying to stabilize parts of the home so that investigators could safely do their job, and that has created a slight delay in the investigation. Foul play is now suspected in the case of a house fire on West Bunch Street that left 2 people dead. The Dothan Police and Fire Department are working together to figure out what started the suspicious fire.
We did locate some evidence outside the home that would lead us to believe that a crime did occur. We are going to continue to follow not only that lead, but other leads we have. We do have other indicators that may lead us to a conclusion of this.
The call came at approximately 8:39 last night for a house with flames visible. Investigators have been on the scene since. As of now, they are not able to say what exactly makes this a suspicious fire.
As an ongoing investigation, those types of things are things that we need to keep kind of close at this point. And hopefully, as we go through the day, and more than likely Monday when we have more details.
Due to an almost fully collapsed ceiling and a basement in the home, the investigation had been slightly delayed. The fire department technical rescue team worked today to stabilize the house so investigators could safely work.
Through the course of the firefight and the initial investigation, we are able to release that there are 2 fatalities in the fire. Unable to identify the victims at this time.
At this point, not much information has been made available, but the investigation will continue throughout the next couple of days. So right now we're waiting to find out what started the fire and why it was started. And hopefully that information, along with the victims' names, will be released on Monday. Live in the studio, Yasmina Alston, WDHN News.
Thank you very much, Yasmina. If you drink water in the city of Enterprise, the city might just be saving you money on dental bills. Enterprise Waterworks received the 2013 Water Fluoridation Quality Award. This comes from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The Waterworks Department was awarded for promoting oral health by adjusting the fluoride content to its optimum level. The city currently injects fluoride into its 16 wells, and reports show that adding fluoride to drinking water reduces dental disease.
It's an honor and time you get recognized for your hard work and for the work that the well operators have done in the water system. They do a great job, and I'm very proud of them and what they've done.
City workers pride themselves by saying if you've got cavities, it's not from the water in Enterprise. Staying in the City of Progress, a big disappointment for those wanting a skate park. The city applied for a grant through the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs in hopes of building a skate park. The grant denied, and those plans once again stalled. And as WDHN's Valencia Jones tells us, those working for months to make it reality are starting to lose hope.
Optimism at an all-time low after a long-awaited grant was denied this week.
Very disappointed, obviously. I mean, it was potential that it would be denied.
Documents from council meetings dating back to 1992 show efforts to build a skate park in Enterprise. Now, those looking to see it happen say they can't help but feel they're being given the runaround.
I don't think, to be honest, that the people in the city leaders really understand what this can bring to our community.
She says the kids would welcome just about anything at this point.
They tend to get a reputation as being thugs or criminals, but they're good kids, and all they truly want to do is skate.
City representatives say despite the roadblocks, they want to see the project happen.
We're disappointed we didn't get the grant, but we also have another idea in mind, another city-owned property that we may could repurpose for a skate park.
City council members agreed this week to allow the mayor to look into this as a possible option.
With the city already owning the property and the concrete and all being there and stuff already being on that piece of property, the cost will not be as significant as it would be starting from scratch or starting from nothing, so that will help.
The E.L. Gibson Foundation has already committed $20,000 to the project, but he says there are still no guarantees. Yet in spite of the grim outlook, skate park supporters say they're keeping hope alive. They say they'll continue looking for other options. In Enterprise, Valencia Jones, WDHN News.
No word tonight on when the city will make a decision on the building as a possible skate park location. To Barber County now, more bad news for those working to save North Eufaula Avenue. An agreement with the Alabama Department of Transportation, or ALDOT, to postpone the plans for 1 year, now unlikely. A delegation that met with ALDOT says the offer's been pulled. The construction bidding process expected to begin December the 5th. Members of the Eufaula delegation say lawsuits will likely be filed. ALDOT and the Eufaula-Barber County Chamber of Commerce are hosting public meetings on November 18th. They'll start at 6:30 p.m. at the Eufaula Community Center. Pat Dye, former Auburn football head coach, and Ray Scott will speak after ALDOT's presentation. In Florida tonight, one person dead after an accident in Holmes County that happened this morning. Florida Highway Patrol says a pedestrian walked into the path of a car. They were pronounced dead at the scene. It happened on State Road 2 near Esto. The identification of the victim being withheld pending notification of family members. This accident remains under investigation. Well, Scott Roberts with us now. Temperatures continue to slide.
And they are going to slide below freezing tonight with a clear sky. That's not going to help us keep any heat. We'll let you know how cold it is going to be for your neighborhood coming up.
This is WDHN News at 6 with Ben Stanfield, meteorologist Scott Roberts, and sports with Hannah Trippett.
WDHN weather, brought to you by Mike Smith's Automotive Collision Center.
Now, your forecast with Storm Tracker Live.
Today we had a sunny afternoon, and if you spent any time outside at all, you probably noticed that it really did not do anything to help us warm up. And tonight we have a mainly clear sky and dry conditions out there. There's our view from our Durham digital camera on the west end of town. There are lots of traffic out there. And on Storm Tracker Live right now, you can see we do have that mainly clear sky right now. Early in the day, we did have some thin clouds that quickly moved off to the east, but because we had all that sunshine, drier air was actually working in at the surface thanks to northerly winds with high pressure building, and so our highs were only able to reach the lower 50s and even just 49 degrees for Troy today, and now we're already down in the lower 30s or lower 40s and upper 30s for some locations, and these temperatures are only going to get colder for tonight because of that drier air working in at the surface. Winds are still out of the north at 7 miles an hour. That's going to lower the dew point down below freezing, and that is where we also factor in the wind into our current temperature. As far as how it feels like to you, it feels more like the 30s or lower 30s for some places and upper 30s for that wind chill temperature. So not too comfortable out there. Definitely need the jacket for you. And tomorrow morning it is going to be below freezing. So once again, we do have a freeze warning in place until tomorrow morning, until 7 o'clock. And it looks like through the day we will see some slightly warmer temperatures than today. So we have about one more cold night, but Sunday is going to be a little bit warmer. We will see those temperatures get near 70 degrees ahead of our next cold front, but beyond that, once it clears out, we're going to see another cold spell and might possibly be a little bit colder than this one has been. Across the country, we are seeing very cold temperatures, not quite as cold as we have been seeing the past couple days, but a lot of cool temperatures across the southeast. You can see where the front is making its way through. The peninsula of Florida still in the 50s or near 60 degrees for Tampa right now. So there's the high pressure that is built in. The winds are out of the north, bringing the cooler and drier air. But through the day tomorrow, this will gradually shift out to the east. We will get the return flow from the Gulf of Mexico, which will help to fuel the showers and storm chances for late on Sunday. But through the day tomorrow, that is going to help us have a mainly clear sky. But you can see off to the west that storm system approaching. Most of the rain in the first part of the day is going to be across Mississippi and portions of northern Alabama. It won't be until this low gets a little bit closer to us later on Sunday and into Monday when we will start to see those rain chances increase. Tonight we'll get down to 30 degrees here in Dothan, 56 for our high temperature tomorrow afternoon here in Dothan. And there's the 5-day forecast. Warmer on Sunday and Monday, but it's going to be rather cloudy and rainy, so that's going to help things feel a little bit cooler despite having those warmer temperatures. But then Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to have some cold afternoon high temperatures and cold mornings. Check it out, 29 degrees for Wednesday morning.
Wow, and 49 for that high on Tuesday.
Yeah, and we might see a few 50s that day, but for us in Dothan, 49 might be a little bit optimistic.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. It is cold outside. Thank you very much, Scott.
No problem.
I'm going to bundle up this weekend. Coming up in sports, early signing period continues tonight. 2 Wiregrass athletes hit the dotted line. Hear from them next.
Continues today for athletes around the Wiregrass, starting off with a future Troy Trojan. Callum Masters, a current Providence Christian Eagle, signed a scholarship to play for the Trojans golf team. Masters was a big part of the Eagles' 2 most recent title runs as a freshman in 2012. He helped the team win the state title and then again in 2014. Most recently, he was named the #1 medalist and tied the state record for the lowest score in the tournament.
Freshman year was basically between Troy and South, and but I felt like Troy is where I would be real comfortable and where I would like to work on my game, and I would like to play for Coach Terry as well. I can't believe it's already early signing period now, but I'm excited and also nervous at the same time, but it's a good kind of nervous.
We look forward to following your career, Callum, and the Eagles golf team this year as they try for back-to-back state titles. Also signing on the dotted line is Rehoboth's Dayla Gulich. Next year, she'll make the drive across the state over to Mobile to play at South Alabama. Last season, Gulich helped the Rebels softball team with a .427 batting average, 16 doubles, and 3 home runs. She'll enter into a program that's seen a lot of success in the short amount of time in its existence.
They've gone to regionals 2 years. They've been Sub-Belt Conference champs like 3 years. And Coach Clark and Coach McCain, their coaching staff is great. Their team's great. And the atmosphere there is just wonderful. It's like a family atmosphere. It made it feel like home, away from home.
She said her favorite memory at Rehoboth was setting the record of 12 home runs in one season. Well, round 2 of the high school football playoffs is here. Several teams from the Wiregrass are playing for a spot in the quarterfinals, the majority of which come from Class 2A, Region 2. GW Long, the area title winner, Geneva County and Cottonwood will be on the field competing tonight. The Rebels hold wins over both teams as they've gone undefeated so far this season, while the Bears weren't able to defeat Long but pulled out the win versus the Bulldogs. Sitting at 9-2 on the season, Toby Green and his team go on the road tonight to take on Flomaton.
Tough schedule prepared. You know, 3 teams in our region still are playing this week, us and Long and, of course, Geneva County. So we're excited about the region we're in, and we knew it was tough. Knew going into the year it's going to be a tough schedule. But, you know, it's paid off, and it's gotten us this far, and we'll just keep going. Hopefully just go play our best game like we did last week, and if we do, I like our chances.
Flomaton comes into tonight's game with 3 losses, 8 wins. Last week they defeated Pickens County 35-21 to make it to the second round. Now here's a look at the rest of the Wiregrass schools trying to make it to Jordan-Hare Stadium in December. The Warriors and Panthers renew a longtime region matchup tonight in what could also be Donnie Chastein's last chance to coach this Geneva team. We won't have the extra point on Friday tonight, but we'll bring you the highlights and final scores coming up on WDHN News at 10. Well, that'll do it for sports. Ben, back to you.
Thank you very much, Anna. Here's a look outside Dothan's west side. Back in just a moment.
Get Papa John's new Fritos chili.
Okay, we're out of time. Scott's how's it feeling tonight?
Gonna be cold.
Okay, good deal. See you later, friends. 10 o'clock.